1,709 days. So let's see if everything's working before I get started. Takes a minute. Okay. There we go. All right. Hi, everybody. I think everyone can hear me. That's great. My video's still not perfect. Oh, well. We'll see. We'll see. It has been a wild day, y'all. Very wild. 1,000. Every day is. Every day is breaking news. Every day is breaking news with the Richard Halliday case that is intertwined with the Walmart mass shooting case. And we are on day 1,709, and every day has been breaking news. It's, am I over exaggerating? I don't think I am. I don't think I am. It's just because so many things are happening every day behind the scenes. New information that we have to corroborate, that we have to validate, that we have to um, compare to other witness statements. And, with what's going on in our country today, more and more people are coming forward giving us information, right? More and more. And it's going higher and higher up the chain, higher and higher up into the agencies and into the government system, because they know they just can't they just can't stand by anymore and say nothing, because to say nothing, to be silent, is to give consent, and that is criminal, right? To stay silent when you know uh, really important information, even a little bit of information. But if you know some information and you stay silent, then that is consent, and that is criminal. And so, more and more people are coming forward. That's why we got the information about this white van. We've had information about the two, I don't want to give all the information out, but it is a minivan. It is a caravan, and it's white, and we've had this information for a while now, and we're being told, and I should start from the very beginning, that 1,709 days since Richard, and is it that many days, right? Because Richard's case happened before the Walmart mass shooting case. So let's add, another year onto that, another year, because that's when his case really started. And absolutely, he was telling us it is really bad. It is so bad. It's very, very bad. So bad that this distinguished honor graduate, this guidon bearer, right? This marvelous, absolutely heroic, marvelous young man said, "No way, no way can I stay in this military." And this is from a very patriotic family. That's why he joined in the first place, right? Very patriotic, go Army family. And, I had even told him, maybe if you're going to join, maybe you should join the Air Force. No, no way. We're a patriotic Army family. That was, I was like, Mom, come on, Mom, come on. Yeah, so he absolutely knew things were very, very bad. And he told everybody, didn't he, by making that video and posting it. And he said he'd rather burn his money than spend it on whores and blow. Now, if anyone knows Richard, Richard was absolutely giving information up there, right? He was absolutely giving up information, and he was also telling Belen Rocha, don't do it. Don't do it. These people, they say that they respect you, but they don't. Don't do it. They really think of you bad. And the guys, well, the girls think of you bad, and the guys, they're just horny. They just want to see you naked. Now, that's a warning to her. He's not, there is no video, no audio of him doing anything other than blowing the whistle. Blowing the whistle. Absolutely. And the failure of his command to protect him. Just like with Glennon Oakley Jr., where he's crying because Richard was calling 911. They were failing to protect. They failed to protect him, didn't they? And he has audio and video where he is absolutely trying to convince the soldiers not to spend their money on horse and blow. And because the SOPs weren't being followed, the standard operating procedures, the security procedures were not being followed on Fort Bliss. They were allowing the drugs to come in. They were allowing the girls to come in. We know that DES Thomas Kane is the one that gave them the passes to get on. We know the drugs were rampant. We know the alcohol was rampant. And they dared to tell us that they took underage drinking seriously. Yeah, they took it seriously, all right, to profit off of it, to extort, to take advantage of our young soldiers. And Richard stood tall and stood against it. And it's on video. And it's on video telling Belen Rocha, don't do it. They don't respect you. Meaning she was being coached, she was being groomed to get to an activity that was really up to no good. And we have so many pictures of her up to no good. So many pictures people have sent us. And I want to say, should I say thank you for the evidence? The pictures are absolutely vulgar and vile. She's up to no good. And Richard was warning her. So there was absolutely girls coming on, very young girls. We know 14-year-old living in the barracks. We know that Richard multiple times reported to Child Protective Services. We know that the IG were all over the barracks because of Halliday, because he was the whistleblower. We know that he was in communication with FBI Houston. We know that he was in communication with Washington, D.C., and we know he called 911 multiple times. And he was in communication with CID, which means it was Tavita Nusa. And Tavita Nusa knew who Richard was before the Walmart mass shooting. So, they gave us this this view, but it was a foggy view, and it was a lot of lies, they lied to our face. They lied to our face. And it wasn't just to our family. And people are starting to get it in El Paso now that they lied to the people of El Paso about the Walmart mass shooting case, about Patrick Crusius, that they absolutely lied to the people to their face constantly about Patrick Crusius and about the Walmart mass shooting case. And now, after they've squeezed and squeezed, and I and I'm going to give credit to us, because if it wasn't for, and there might be other people filing complaints, but if it wasn't for our investigation and our constant filing the complaints against Joe Spencer, against John Briggs, against the El Paso criminal law magistrate court, and on, Veronica Escobar, you know, our constant revealing of all of the evidence that we have um, submitted, uh, a lot of work, to all the agencies and organizations and the media, with all of that going on, and with us being really the main people that um, drove Montoya to have no other choice, because he really has no other choice than to say we can't seek the death penalty. Because you know what that means? So to the people of El Paso that, are very hardworking and don't have time to, look into every little day in and day out detail of all of this, that they're like, okay, just listening to the narrative. To them, it's like, what? You've got this person that they've told us over and over again, falsely, that he was a white supremacist and a racist and a mass murderer and just cold blooded to those that are praying for mercy, and was so capable that he could, in 1 and 2 minutes, use a faulty type weapon, which he admits, not, and it's not he that admits it, it's whoever did the paper that was written. What is that called? The whatever. It'll come to me. But it's a faulty weapon. It jams, it overheats, and yet in 1 and 2 minutes, he's so skilled that he can carry out this kind of crime in very short range with 30 rounds, with only 30 rounds, because if you look in the picture, there's no other clips there. And in 1 and 2 minutes, that's all the time that he has to do it. There's no changing clips. There's no changing clips. It is absolutely, he is so good with only 1 month preparation, right? No log of any training at all. And he's so good that he can do that kind of damage and walk away without throw up on him, without sweat, without any other things on his body. Totally clean, totally cool, goes out and has to force his surrender on the police because they tell him to leave the first time. And and this is not my words, this is Joe Spencer's, and drives off and says, this is not how it's supposed to end. It's supposed to end, even though in that manifesto, that's the word, in the manifesto where talks all about the weapon and that it overheats and it's a jammy weapon and whatever, that it's not the best and these bullets aren't the best and blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, he's severely autistic. Really? Really? It, you just have to read it. It's just, I need to post it so everyone can read it and see how ridiculous. It reminds me of, and I've said this so many times, like one time I just finally decided, okay, I'm going to read, um, who wrote it's Midnight, right? Um, Darwin's Theory of Evolution. I'm just going to read his book, right? It's the most racist, but it's so boring. It's so idiotic. It's so, I want to use the word stupid. And I'm like, really? Really? This is what is changing people's minds? They want to leave the creator for this garbage? Really? It's so it's so boring and it's so unintellectual. And and so reading the manifesto, it's like the same thing. It's like, really? It's like, who cut and paste this? Who cut and paste this garbage? And in no way is it a 20-year-old or a 21-year-old, a 21-year-old that wrote this. There needs to be analysis, I mean, it's just, and then never a mention of any of his struggles with everything that he's gone through, being having severe mental health conditions. Never. It's, and no record of any kind of intellectual um protest or anything. It's the most ridiculous psyop. It's the most ridiculous psyop. And so he's driving away, and in the manifesto it says, they're going to have to bring me down. I'm never going to surrender, blah, blah, blah. I don't have the exact words, but, he's talking tough in it. And it's, who is talking tough in it? Is it cut and paste? Is it cut and paste? Because it's not very meek. Every time you've seen him, I mean, they've had to scraggle him, put chains on him, put the prison clothes on him, put a bulletproof vest on him to kind of roughen him up a little bit, because if they put him in a suit, he comes in there and he's like so meek. Like so meek, he doesn't smirk. He doesn't, he's just sitting there. It's it's such a psyop. And and then Joe Spencer is confirming that it is by saying he's driving away saying, "Oh, it's not supposed to end like this. I'm supposed to die. I need to make a U-turn. Okay, I'll make a U-turn. I'll go back and I'll stop at this intersection, on Viscount, wait and wait for police to come, right? Or for DPS to come, which, oh, really? Texas Rangers, really? uh, I could go on and on and on about the Texas Rangers. And, a lot of red flags going up here where they don't have, he just calmly, no one, it's just the most absurd arrest you've ever seen. You have to watch the video. I should post that up too. You have to watch the video of his arrest. It's the most absurd arrest you've ever seen in the circumstances. No bagging of his hands, no reading his Miranda rights, no wanting to preserve evidence, no following SOPs. It's just, uh, uh, you know, it's um, it's indicative of something, right? It's indicative of something, and I'll let you fill all of that in. Um, and who signed the warrant for his arrest? A fraud. A fraud, another psyop. The people of El Paso get it now. They have been so lied. It's not just us that were lied to about our son's case. El Paso has been totally lied to. America has been totally lied to because they have a entire court there that has full jurisdiction of the county, and not one judge is legitimate. Not one. And they take Penny Hamilton, who, wow, wow. And she is a pretender. She is a fraud. She is stealing the money of the people. She is stealing their freedom. She signs a warrant for the arrest of Patrick Crucius, and the El Paso police think they should follow it? I mean, like any kind of person can come off the street and say, I'm going to make a warrant for arrest of Patrick Crucius. Now go do it. Really? So, why? And then you have to ask, she was the one that he had to stand in front of. It took me a very short time just watching videos, right? Just watching a few videos, and I'm like, my goodness, he does have a broken brain, as Joe Spencer says. Those aren't my words. Those are Joe Spencer's. He has a broken brain. You know, you meet him, you just watch a video and you can tell. I'm like, oh my gosh, I think he's autistic. And I even said that on my live stream. I was so convinced, and I was right. And I was right. I got mocked for it by Bob Moore because he's trying to protect El Paso Community Foundation from being scrutinized for their fraudulent distribution of the over $12 million of victims' funds that they were in charge of. Who did that money go to? Right? Where is the transparency on that? But it only took me very short time at a distance to understand that Patrick Crucius needed a state mental health evaluation. Pronto. ASAP. ASAP. That never was ordered. That never was ordered. Instead, a fake, a fraud, a thief, Penny Hamilton, put out a warrant for his arrest and sealed the evidence, sealed the case. That anything she signed is void. Is void. His arrest. See, this is the thing. James Montoya has no choice. This is why there was so much delay. The delay was, the case is so botched. It can't even have a trial because it's so botched. It's so botched because they tampered with it. And I believe it's more than just tampering. It's more. It's like convenient connections of corruption. And I think following the money needs to be, right? Needs to be. We need to follow the money. There needs to be a congressional hearing, a congressional investigation, a congressional hearing, FBI investigation, FBI. I mean, we need Dan Bongino on this. We need Cash Patel on this because we're talking about the civil rights of all those that live in El Paso County, including any illegals. Because if you're an illegal alien in El Paso County and anything happens, you get brought, most likely 95% of the time, your first stop in court is that criminal law magistrate court. And they are all illegitimate. And she's sealing the evidence like, we want to know about this white van. We want to know about the dispatches of that day, of all the people that were calling in and giving information. Let's hear it. Let's hear that information. What did they see? It was a very busy day at Walmart. It was a very busy day in the parking lot. Let's hear what they had to say. All those dispatches. Because people have phones today and they have video today. And let's see it. Let's hear it. We have paid, and I can say we because it's federal money also, millions of dollars for this case. Millions. It's our case. You understand? It's our case because we've paid for it. We paid for Patrick Crusius's defense millions of dollars. Millions. I believe it's tens of millions of dollars. Because I think in 2023, it came out already $30 million. And if you haven't seen his family house, it's swanky. It's very nice. It's high class. It's nicer than anything most of us have ever had. And yet he has zero income, zero, 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 and zero expenditures. Really? He doesn't even need the essentials in life? And this all gets sealed by some, Penny Hamilton? Who is she? She's a nobody. And she's collecting loads of money as the imposter judicial officer. She's collecting a pension, retirement pay from the people there in the county of El Paso. And who's enabling what she's doing? See, this is another thing. Who's enabling? Well, the El Paso Police Department, right? Veronica Escobar, Representative Veronica Escobar, Judge Samaniago, the county judge, but also the county clerk. County clerk is filling out the paperwork for all her orders, filling out the passing it on, filling out the paperwork for her illegal retirement. I mean, it is the lies that have been told are, it's unreal. It is, but it is real. It is so criminal. So here we are getting lied to by generals, right, that absolutely do not deserve our uniforms and our stars. We're being lied to by Jake Jakovitz, the command sergeant major. Absolutely lied to by him. Even though he's the one that told us the truth about him We meaning Clem Coward, Major General Clem Coward, we brought the girls in. We also meaning DES, Director of Emergency Services, Thomas Kane, because Thomas Kane had to give the passes. If you know anything about military, you have to have a pass to go on base. And he issues those passes. We, we, the authorities that are absolutely compromised and are absolutely committing criminal activity, criminal leadership against our own soldiers, our own country. This is, you see what they've done. They absolutely abused their power. They absolutely obstructed justice. They absolutely, because of their negligence, facilitated a breach in security that allowed for the murder of soldiers. And then they covered it up because they want their retirement and they want their disability benefits, because it's really odd. The high number of 100% disabled veterans are in that El Paso County. Wowzer. Huh. I wonder. I mean, I think of Michael Mayella with Bob Moore with El Paso Matters and the quid pro quo there. You know, does the military have quid pro quo? Do they have quid pro quo too? That's a question, right? Because Michael Mayella and is Michael Mayella connected to Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia? Because Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia absolutely committed fraud like Penny Hamilton. And you have Michael Mayella, the manager of the federal courthouse, and you have Michael Mayella Jr. in the DA's office, in the FBI's office, in Walmart security, now at who, right? Or why or whatever. I think it's who, whatever. But it's the big military contract a company that gets big military contracts. You know, they absolutely know about the fraud. They absolutely know. And so does Danae Katzen, and so does um, Jonathan Ambrose with this victims funds. So you've got fraud, waste, and abuse, and the lying. And the lies come, of course, from KTSM with the connections with Danae and Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia. I'm telling you, that's already confirmed, right? That's why they took us to KTSM. And then you have El Paso Matters and Bob Moore, who is not neutral and he's not outside of the case. He's not, like some kind of reporter that's like just reporting, I'm standing here at the corner and this is what no. His owner, the owner of El Paso Matters, El Paso Community Foundation, was in charge of the Walmart mass shooting victims funds that are being scrutinized, that were being scrutinized back then about its fraudulent distribution. And Bob Moore is trying to divert people's minds, right? Divert the minds, divert attention. It's like nothing to see here. He's not neutral. That's the point. He's not some outsider. He is part of the Walmart mass shooting case. He is part of the Walmart mass shooting case. That's a conflict of interest. So, yeah, so this finding out about the white van, the Dodge Caravan white van, and connecting it to the dispatches, and then the dispatches being sealed by a fraud, an imposter, an impersonator, a thief, Penny Hamilton. And you have those that are allowing it to happen. And I think we need to follow the money, because the only way they can allow this to happen is because Veronica Escobar absolutely knows. It's not like, oh, really? They're supposed to be, oh, I'm in this kind of authority position. I'm supposed to know the Texas constitutional law, and my husband's a judge. My husband's a judge. But I didn't know. No, she knows, because she had to, as county judge, sign off on the paychecks, right? So that they can get paid. Are you telling me that all of these individuals that are imposters, that, and she didn't get notice in 2015 that, hey, now you have full countywide jurisdiction? Now that court has full, she did, because there was only one judge at the time. Now you got five, and they're not even judges. Well, before it was a judge, because it could be appointed. They weren't a full countywide jurisdiction, so that was legitimate. But 2015, everything changed. Everything changed, and they added four more illegal, instead of holding elections to place legitimate, elected, duly elected judges into that court. They kept on with the fraud. They kept on, well, they created the fraud. They wanted to appoint. I wonder why. I wonder why. I wonder if there's any backroom deals for the appointment of Penny Hamilton, right? I wonder how if that was a backroom deal. I don't know. But I can ask, right? I can ask, because I'm like, okay, that's my opinion. Because there were so many backroom deals in all of this. So many backroom deals, so much tampering, so much lying. And why is this important to our son's case? Well, of course, it's the same people, right? It's the same people. And Richard's case has been tampered with and tampered with and tampered with, and obstructed and obstructed and obstructed. And we have been absolutely key to getting his name out there and reporting all of what's going on there. And they're tongue tied. They're tongue tied. And they're still pretending that, the emperor has no clothes. They're illegitimate. They're illegal. The emperor has no clothes. And yet, so many are still trying to just convince everybody that he's wearing some kind of special golden weaved outfit. And only the dumb people can't see it. Only the dumb people can see the truth, but we're not allowed to say anything. And if you're smart, you can see it. So everyone's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." Maybe it's more like if you're compromised, you see that this fake. You claim that the fake, that the fraud, that the imposters are real if you're compromised. But if you don't, if you're just a hardworking person trying to make ends meet, like a child, right? Jesus said we have to be like children. And it was a child in the story of the emperor with no clothes that said the truth. The emperor has no clothes. Penny Hamilton has no legality in what she did with the warrant and the sealing, the warrant for the arrest of Patrick Crusius and the sealing of the evidence. And especially if there's a connection between a white van in the Walmart case and a white van in Richard's case, we would like to see the dispatches. We would like to know what's going on with the dispatches, because in the dispatches, it will give the license plate number, I think. There's a chance. Where are the dispatches? And it's already botched, 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 botched every which way you look. So why can't we have the dispatches? Why can't we hear what happened on that day and what the police were talking about? Why did Penny Hamilton have to seal that? So the gag order, we force that to be lifted, right? So there's no more gag order. So people can freely speak now. But there's still a seal on the case. And our from the very beginning, for all the warrants and subpoenas and everything, in our son's case, which we should have that too, shouldn't we? That's our son's case. And we're hearing that the signature is Robert Shook, who was the JAG judge, and it was Penny Hamilton. We'd like to know. We'd like to know, because if it's Penny Hamilton, she has no legality. So if she sealed anything, it's void. It's void. And I think that's very important. Thank you, Anicia, for coming on, and thank you, Olga, for coming on. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Amen. And it's we can only give God the glory in all of this for keeping us healthy, for keeping us strong, um, for keeping us, I guess like Teflon. We have a hedge of angels around us, and of course, I know Richard and my dad, Richard, he's also a Richard, are around us. They're a hedge around us, and um, to be able to not understand everything, yet to have faith to march forward and piece by piece get better and better understanding, and still have the strength to investigate, to identify, to write all the letters, to file all the letters. We have an amazing email um, collection now, an amazing email collection. It's just so things get faster and faster and better. Amen. Thank you so much, Olga. Um, so God has provided us with the leads. God has provided us with the identification of Nadal Baim. That was so important. That was, and it just showed that um, the command lied to us, right? I mean, he's the father-in-law of Lieutenant Colonel Bradford Bugado in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM, Richard's command. And so they absolutely knew who he was. And he was, I mean, big contractor, right? Trying to sell um, El Paso Police Department $3 million worth of bullets and more and more. And also, the Mercedes, that Pearl Mercedes. Um, yeah, it's all the pieces are coming together, and there's even more connections and all of that. And of course, we have um, loads of audio video to go through. Um, and so more and more audio video, not audio, yeah, audio recordings, I should say, audio recording transcripts are coming forward. We just have to go through them. And right now, it's, y- when you see the headset and you're like, okay, so what kind of evidence is out there? And you see El Paso Police Department, um, they tell you in the hearings, oh yeah, these are tactical, these are electronic, and you're like, what? These are electronic tactical? Who's talking to Patrick Crucius through these earphones, right? I mean, I guess I'm a little bit old and I wasn't in the military where they're using these tactical electronic earphones, and you see them. Then you go back and you look at the Walmart case, and who had them? The FBI. The FBI was using these these communicative headsets. And then you're like, of course, because I was just always so confused because that one picture of Patrick Crucius, uh, he going in there, I'm like, well, who's helping him? I mean, he can't tie his shoes when he's 18. We're told he can't speak until he's 6 years old. Um, you know, uh, something. We need more clarity. We need more clarity. Um, and the FBI are wearing these headsets, and who knows who was in the white van? Who knows who was in the white van? I mean, we've got Michael Maiello Jr., the hacker, at the DA's office in the FBI with Walmart security. His dad's connections with all the major cases, his connections with all the major cases with Jaime Esparza, his connection with cases that he can tamper with because he's a hacker and he's doing the cybersecurity, and he can be in the FBI, he can be with Walmart security. That's all the cameras and everything. And then so he's this uh major player in this. And then of course you have the West Pointer, which is Danae Katzen's husband, Jonathan Ambrose, who is, a major computer person with all the LLCs and everything. And then you have Brian Blake Crucius, who's all into the banking finances and everything, computer wise. His PDFs are online from his perspectives, right? And then you have, of course, Dallas Wayne Hart, who is the prime suspect in the worst type of way in our son's case. and Richard's platoon leader, and very, very cybersecurity able, right? Very able to handle that keyboard. These keyboard warriors in this case, in the cases, right? In the cases. So there's so much tampering going on. And what it does, the red flags are they do have the agents and um, the access in order to carry out things that are up to no good. So they do have it. It's not like you can't say the very, very beginning, 4 years ago, people were like, oh no, we're like, this is something big. Something is really stinky. And they're like, oh, they don't have the infrastructure, could never work. No, they do. They do. They do have it. And it's compromised. And it allowed 10,000 children at a time starting, well, it was always there, but they really went full throttle on the criminal trafficking starting in March of 2021. They went full throttle. And 10,000 children at a time. And, it started at 325,000, then it went up to 500,000. And then now we're hearing it's almost a million. So I just say hundreds of thousands of children have been trafficked through our military installation, And we paid for the contractors that provide all the stuff for this. And then we don't get any accountability of where these children went and what happened to them. None. And, who's doing the contracting? Well, we know that General John Kelly was in that kind of business with Hempstead, Florida, and then he goes over to Chihuahua, Mexico. Did he tell the United States government, "Hey, I have like top security clearance and I'm going to go work for the governor of Chihuahua," which is known for not too good of ties. Not too good of ties. And then all of a sudden you got this big humongous camp, 10,000 at a time children. Someone has to supply it. And that's just one little part of it. You got all the contracts, you got all the weapons, you got all the money laundering, you got the drugs, you got all the security breaches. All the security breaches. Which is so criminal because their job is to, after defending the Constitution of the United States, is security. Is security. Their job is to keep our military secure on a military base. And yeah. And that's why Ann Ogle, I mention her name and I try to mention it pretty often because she was in charge of CYS. And that's her job, uh, to really know what's happening with the children on a military base and works very closely with CPS. So she absolutely, and of course, Park University, and I claim to this day, and there's a lot going on with Park University, okay, because Richard wanted to be CID, and we know, um, well, the scheming the con jobs, the cover up, it's evident. It's evident. And and it's all going to come out because, and Olga knows, right? And so does Anicia, that you can't hide anything from God. And they can plan things and mean it for evil, but God turns it around and He does good. He, He's waking us up and He's showing us what we need to be doing. And at the end of the day, we're all going to be on our knees giving God the glory. And you think of giving God the glory all the time with your hands raised high and everything, and which we do, right? But when it's so powerful, when the glory is so overwhelming, you just fall down on your knees, right? You just fall down on your knees and give praise. So, and that's what's happening. And so, thank you so much, everyone. I'm putting things out about Penny because her seal on the case doesn't count, and we need to be able to look at that. And so, please share that post. Please share this so that we can see what we paid for. So we can see what we paid for in the Walmart mass shooting case. Um, I just think that Montoya, in this instant, because there's so much going on with the 2028, right? The 2028 stamp. Um, but in this call to not pursue the death penalty is a call to end the case. And yeah, and I'll come. So what does that mean for us? You know, so many people think, oh, this is no justice, right? No justice. But what it means to them is not that. It means the end of the gravy train. The end of the gravy train. Because we don't really get to see the gravy train like they get to, because they hide it all from us so much. And yesterday was such an okay day before yesterday because it's 1 o'clock here. Um, but what President Trump did in the Rose Garden, holding up those charts about the tariffs and everything, it's just amazing how transparent he is. Whether you like it or not, at least he's showing you this is how much they charge us. This is how much we're going to charge them. uh, you know, and we're doing it kindly. We're doing it kindly. They're not as kind to us as we are to them. You know, we're being very kind. We're not charging as much, you know. And then they're all gnashing their teeth because they don't want reciprocal tariffs. It's absolutely crazy when our country has been gutted. Um, it's been gutted, and the middle class has been gutted. And so it's just amazing to see that kind of transparency. Whereas, you know, um, I'd like, I have a lot of questions on where did the money go? Where did $37 trillion go that we're in debt for? Where did that go? I mean, I don't know about you, but that's a lot of money. We should be on like gold and silver roads. We should be one very wealthy, very bloated middle class, a very happy middle class with $37 trillion. But we don't see that. And so any argument for to try to keep things the way they were is kind of like saying um, the manifesto is brilliant or something, or Darwin's theory is a good read. I mean, that's why it's not required reading. So, yeah, to keep things, it's delusional. It's, you know, so I think we need a lot of truth. We need a lot of truth, and we need to face the truth. And and I think that that's how we're going to get justice, and justice is righteousness, right? So, thank you so much. God bless you, and I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Justice for Richard.